So starting off with my thoughts on Theory X, I think it's a really good theory, but it's a little specialized. There's not a ton of situations that it's going to apply to, and there's definitely a lot of situations, a lot of organizations and like company structures that it's not going to function very well in. I think it'd be really good in really like specialized, or well, not really specialized, but like repetitive kind of autonomous jobs. I always think of like, it makes me think of like a factory, of like someone that works on like kind of an assembly line where they're doing like the same things, they have to do it the same way just over and over again. I think Theory X would work good for that, because you don't really need a lot of like independent thought. You don't need to come up with your own methods or things, and I think a lot of people probably would not really want to do that, and they wouldn't be so motivated. So Theory X would apply well to there. Um, for me personally, I think Theory Y is a better management style. I think it's a lot more broad. It applies and is more effective for a lot more organizations. I think especially kind of like creative, I don't want to say artsy, but like imaginative, maybe like content, not really content, but just more creative organizations, companies that are kind of coming up with something unique. It's going to be really helpful because that independent thought and that freedom, that ability to kind of have an effect over the company and the management and the organizational structure as just an employee. I think it's going to help a lot of those companies like that. And then also being as like a specialized, like kind of like a really specialized, maybe like some really kind of specific kind of welder, or a really fancy, really specific high level doctor that does, or someone that does like one really specific niche thing. I think having that Theory Y style is going to be helpful because those employees, they will know what they're doing, and kind of giving them the freedom to set their environment up to give them the most success because they know what they're doing. They're going to be able to manage themselves more accurately. Or in companies where the employees like really like their job, that Theory Y is going to be really helpful because it's going to help them grow first of all, and then it's also going to help them be more committed and have like more of a positive attitude of their work environment. I think Theory Z is also pretty interesting. It's not, I don't know, it didn't seem super special to me personally. I think it's good for a lot of companies. It makes me think of like really big corporations that are going to have lots of people that are going to stick around for a long time because, like I said, it emphasizes sticking with a company for a long time, which for me personally doesn't seem as a big priority to me, but I think there's a lot of people that would be really good for. The one thing I didn't really like about that was the part where it said it values moving up through the company slowly, because again, me personally, I wouldn't want to be at the bottom, lower levels of a company for a long period of time. I would like to, kind of move up quickly. But I think there's some people that if you really like this company, you want to stay there for a long time, that would be good. That'd be good for a lot of people. It's just, it's not my cup of tea kind of thing. I do think the management styles are different for different generations. I think younger people would tend to value Theory Y a lot more, and then older people kind of would lean towards Theory X and Theory Z, just because that kind of fits into like personalities and culture more. Moving towards the second point, I think it's really hard to choose between intrinsic or extrinsic rewards. I think they're both really important, and it would be hard to do without one. But I think overall, I think an intrinsic reward is generally more important to me. Extrinsic rewards are obviously very important because what the whole point of having a job is to get paid, right? So if I'm not getting paid, the satisfaction and sense of accomplishment doesn't mean all that much. But I wouldn't want to work a job that I hate, right? Even if it pays a lot of money, if I hate it, like I'm giving up my time to do something I hate so that I don't have any more time to spend all the money I'm making, like it doesn't really make any sense. So I think overall intrinsic rewards are going to be more important, but then extrinsic is also a really valuable thing. So I think it's overall the best thing to do is just find yourself a position that's going to give you both of those, something that you enjoy, something that you think is meaningful, but something that also is really beneficial and it pays well and it helps you out.